Yo, what's up guys, Starship here. Today we're doing my top 10 Synchro decks July 2021. These are, I think, the best options if you want to actively Synchro summon. Now this isn't necessarily the most meta relevant decks in order, but I do look at viability as well. But basically if you want to summon big Synchro monsters, the number 1 deck will likely be your best bet. So kicking off the list, at number 10 we have Blackwings. Now sadly they have become somewhat of a Link/XC spam deck nowadays. But there are arguments to be made to still play a going second variant of Blackwing. Now, I have to admit, making this list was very hard. Trying to think of even 10 viable Synchro decks, it's almost impossible. Synchros are in a terrible state at the moment. And Blackwings sadly are no different, even with their new boss monster. Yeah, they just can't keep up with actual good decks. But still, going second, they can brutalize your opponent's board, they have cards that can pop multiple cards. And they're able to UTK quite well. So if you're looking to go for a blind going second UTK strategy, Blackwings might work for you. Keep in mind if you're going anywhere above a locals, then yeah, they're not gonna work too well. But still, if you have a nostalgic feeling for Blackwings or the 5Ds era, those might be a deck you want to try out. So my number 9 is Junk Doppel/Synchrons. I think with the more support they get, the worse they get somehow. Like all the new support they usually get locks you out of links when links are just better synchros. I mean, they literally are. People might get offended by this, but links are synchros that don't require tuners. They don't care about the levels, and they're often stronger. Why even play synchros in the first place, right? And Junk Doppel, usually, just Synchron's new support locks you out of links. And links are totally broken right now. I mean, Hulky Firebreak summon Deskbot, go to Auroradon, summon the Deskbot, and just make multiple plays of just any 2 monsters including a tuner. That's just way better than any consistency play you're gonna get with Junk Doppel Synchron, sadly. But the deck still, with the new Majestic support, at the cost of running a lot of guarded, which is also one of the huge issues, you are able to get your powerful boards. Get your Majestic Star Dragon, get your Shooting Majestic, get your all in the gates on the field, like the Baroness, the Savage, the Savage Dragon actually. Because honestly, good builds don't run Junk Speeder. Junk Speeder is a terrible card. But yeah, this deck has a big identity crisis and it needs new support to do anything. Just being locked to Synchros, yeah, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't, for this deck at least. So my number 8 is an interesting mix, and I also was desperate to find new decks to put on this list, because thinking of 10 viable Synchro decks once again is pretty hard. But number 8 is Laval Lightsworn. Laval Lightsworn, you're thinking? Really? Yeah, I wanted a build on my video, on my channel, and if anyone wants it I can link it in the comments, where I did something like Quasar plus Crystal Wing on a pretty consistent basis. Now the reason I placed this above Junk Doppel is that it just felt more consistent to me. And in the worst case you're still playing some kind of Lightsworn, and Lightsworns are just a stronger deck. I really like this mix also, it's a bit nostalgic with the triple rekindling, you know, also the new rekindling like spell. Yeah, I think this build is cool, it has, it actually goes into one of the level bosses as well, on a regular basis. I don't know, I like Laval Lightsworn a lot. My number 7 might have you scratching your head, but trust me, this build is strong. It's Magicky Ignite. This mix that sounds weird just works out really well. All you need for this is to normal summon the Sublimation Knight, and any pair of Ignites will search it. And this combo theoretically runs a lot of guarded, but here's the thing. The Magicky side of things plus the Plague Spreader you're using shuffle back 2 guarded from your hand back into your deck. So any 3 guarded are not a problem in this variant. You're running 60 cards, you're running a high count of Ignite in this deck, and you're running on really powerful boards. Think of something like Shooting Majestic with some additional negates. This deck is really cool, and if you want an explosive Synchro strategy that also involves pendulums, this might be the deck for you. It even involves rituals too, because, well, Magic is, right? Yeah, I think it's a really cool variant, definitely not meta viable, but you know, if you have the cards laying around and Dawn of Majesty is coming up, this might be for you. But keep in mind, Magic keys aren't out yet in the TCG, because TCG is so far behind the OCG for no good reason, but yeah. So my number 6 is Fortune Ladies. I think Fortune Ladies as a Synchro strategy are definitely underrated. They can put up powerful boards with the whole Zolkin strategy that I've showcased on the channel before. But even the Dogmatica variant is strong. Although it only really summons the Synchro boss of Fortune Lady once, it can keep reviving it in a grind game, and that's still a Synchro deck. You're summoning one Synchro monster and playing Monkey Stun around it, but you're still summoning a Synchro monster and it's your ace, so I think it still counts. It's one of the best synchro strategies for Tzolk'in, and it also has a different playing style. I think Fortune Ladies definitely need to be on this list. My number 5 is Guardians. I mean, Guardians are just a weird deck in general, but they are able to put up quite some huge boards. Sadly, these boards will never be relevant enough, because they just don't have enough negates, and Modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Is all about having negates. And they don't really offer that much negates, Guardians. They're still... you get pretty huge monsters, it's still very... It's getting mean for being a brick-heavy deck, but it's not, in practice, it's not that bad actually. Sometimes you do break hard, trust me. It's not consistent either. But yeah, as long as you play a high amount of Guardians and don't play random bullshit like Allure of Darkness like some people do, you can get a pretty nice Guardian deck. Yeah, later today I will actually upload the Guardian profile, so yeah. I think they're a lot of fun as well, they're an interesting playing style, they're unique, for sure. And they shouldn't be too expensive either, I don't think they are at least. And yeah, I just really like them. My number 4 is Emancipator. This is probably the closest to meta you're gonna get in this list with Emancipators. With the loss of Block Golem, it's just not the same, and the loss of Link Cross. Link Cross was a huge deal, this was basically a blue synchro deck. Back in the day at least when it was meta, it resolved more around links than synchros. Sure, it quote unquote used synchros, but in reality you are going Hulky Fireaxe, Link Cross, summoning thousands of tokens from the links, and then use those tokens that you get for free from the links to go to synchros. Yes, such a synchro deck. But yeah, nowadays it's more of a clean synchro deck. There are multiple ways to play it. I play it in a blind going second fashion, but there are definitely other ways to play it as well. They are very consistent, but yeah, without Block Golem it's just not the same, and without Link Cross. But still, it's a devastating deck. If you're trying to go for huge synchro players, they can also just go to King Calamity. So yeah, my number 4 is Emancipator. My number 3 is Techigenus, TG. Yeah, I've showed this deck a lot on the channel. If you want big synchro monsters, this is one of your favorite best bets. It just summons one big synchro on a consistent basis and sometimes extends it as well. There are a lot of builds you can try. I have a lot on my channel already. I'm posting more and more. There's of course also a master guide on my channel. Yeah, I just think TGs are really great at summoning one powerful boss synchro and just sitting on it basically. I think that's something TG just excels in. Now, my number 2 is... I'm not sure what to call this even after all this time, but it's basically Format Synchro / Cyber Tzolk'in. This is a Tzolk'in strategy that resolves around the card Format Skipper, a level 1 Cyber's monster that can become the same type and attribute as a Link monster in your grave, extra deck. And it's also Cybers that will search the Parallel Exceed. And the Parallel Exceed gives you 2 level 4 bodies, which is basically a Reborn Tengu. Now, combine that with tuners that summon themselves, and boom, you have an easy setup for Tzolk'in, with just a 2-card combo. And then you can play a lot of heavy back row and extenders to summon stuff like King Calamity in your Tzolk'in combo, and you just have one of the best, it's just the best Tzolk'in strategy out there. Now Cybers is a bit clickbait, so you only really use 2 Cybers monsters, the Format Skipper and Parallel Exceed, but they are core of your main combo. Now if you want to see this deck in action, I have a profile on my channel. I pretty much have multiple videos on the deck even. And yes, it's just a very powerful deck. It's just able to establish powerful Tzolk'in boards. And really the only deck that matches this in output of synchro monsters is the number 1 deck. Now number 1 deck, if you know me, it's number 1 on all of these lists I believe. Red Dragon Archfiend, it just is unmatched by any other deck. If big synchros is what you want, Red Dragon Archfiend is your deck to be. It just summons a lot of big synchro monsters for no reason, all of them being dragons. And you just devastate your opponent to kick their ass with these synchros. It's very consistent due to Crimson Resonator, although if you don't over Crimson Resonator you auto-lose, so yeah. And even though it's not meta viable at all, I do think it's still a cool deck. Yeah, if you're playing synchros, just don't even think about that meta, you're not gonna come close. Synchros are just, they're Konami's least favorite child basically. But if you're looking for a powerful synchro deck, Red Dragon Archfiends, it's the definition of power. They just have very big, cool, badass dragons that are just stacked with huge attack, and I think you will like them. If not, hey, whatever. Still good friends. But yeah, I hope you guys like my list. My top 10 synchro decks, any I missed? No, there won't be. All relevant synchro decks have been listed already. Like, you're not gonna think of any relevant ones. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Now signing out. Peace.